What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven here with your afternoon snap, and right now is one of the best times to be a free-to-play player in Marvel Snap. That is the thesis of this video. I'm going to talk about why exactly I feel that is, and also a few reasons I feel that maybe isn't right now, while I mostly just open up some collector's reserves. That's going to be the meat of this video, and I've got some things that I think are interesting to talk about while I do that. The biggest one is we just got a huge compensation for Trump being president, and also character mastery I think just got added into the game like right before I pressed record. I wasn't planning on talking about that. Maybe we'll check that out at the end of this video, though. I'm sure everyone has a lot to check out inside their own collections, though, as well. So you can probably check most of that out on your own. But I'm curious how many characters I've got some nice mastery in. But like I said, the bulk of this video is just going to be me opening up some collector's reserves and chatting a little bit while I do that. So this season, I kind of over-opened last season, and that's partially because of the compensation that we got, because that wound up having some gold tickets in it, and that meant that I didn't really have to open up as many collector's reserves as I did. But this season, I think I'm willing to purposefully over-open, because one of the things that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, the Sanctum Showdown, is going to be a big thing on the second half of the season. It's going to take up a lot of time that I would otherwise spend playing in Conquest mode. So I'd kind of just like to pick up some gold tickets so that way I don't have to worry about playing Conquest mode that much, or if at all this season. I might just grab some gold tickets and then use those to completely unlock the Conquest shop. I forget what's actually in the Conquest shop this season. I don't remember. Is this Luke Cage, or was that? I think Luke Cage was last season. I honestly might not have even looked at the Conquest shop yet for this season. All right, Pixel Invisible Woman. Not going to be getting anyone excited over that. Oh, okay. But that gives me mastery for Invisible Woman. Maybe we'll see that anytime we open up any variant, because I have not interacted with that at all. So just like any type of anything will get that unlocked. So I got Rainbow Confetti, Neon Trails, Frosted Glass, Bananas, and Psychedelic for Invisible Woman. Okay. Like I said, I think that's probably... Oh, but that was also Pixel All-Stars number 6. All right, well, Chibi Deathlock, also cute, and I think how long that takes to make the claim button come available. I think that means we're going to see, Deathlock Mastery level 9 pop up here. Some similar things. We've got Rainbow Confetti, Frosted Glass, Copper Metallic, Bananas, Neon Trails, Bananas again. Oh, this is Bananas as a split, or I should say Bananas is like, so this is like the equivalent of gold, and this is the equivalent of crackle. I did not know bananas were such a big thing in the Marvel Universe. I did not know that every single card was going to get bananified. Can I possibly see the album that this is a part of? No, it doesn't look like. All right, well, I'm curious if this is going to do a bunch of stuff when I just click this collection button. Like I said, this was not intended to be part of this video. Looks like I can kind of keep that off for a second here, but Pixel All-Stars, okay, cool. Some freebies. I might wind up needing to split something. Yeah, I'm already above the amount of... All right, sorry, I did not realize all of this was going to happen right up at the top of the video, but let's split something real quick as we are halfway through the Pixel All-Stars album here, and let's sort by... Oh, you can sort by mastery now. Cool. Let's just sort by newest. And I actually think I don't want to sort by newest. I think I was thinking that I would start to split Mockingbird now. So maybe let's do that just to dump some of these credits. That's really all I'm trying to do here is get down below 10,000 credits so that way I can open up some more collector's reserves and just talk about other things that I wanted to talk about. I will say the main reason that I'm saying that this is the best time to be a free-to-play player, and more even than this is like the best time to be a free-to-play player, it's just like one of the best times economically for any players in Marvel Snap, and that's really because I think that the new cards being released this season into Spotlight caches are not good. And that might sound a little bit weird, like why celebrate the cards being not good? However, and I was a free-to-play player for a long time. This calendar year, I started buying the season passes, and partially I'm justifying that because I create content around the cards, and I feel like I can create more fun content and enter more tournaments, which I can create fun content around if I am purchasing the season pass each month. But before that, I was totally free to play. And, oh, this is, I guess, a God Split already on Mockingbird. Inked plus Rainbow Crackle. All right, we'll do it. And let me just take a look at my mastery level for Mockingbird. She's at level 7, so I can make her full bananas, which is going to potentially, like, is just full bananas everything? Is that the new God Split? Maybe you don't need to. Yeah, interesting. When they first previewed this, I really thought that Hitmonkey was going to be the only thing that went bananas. Very silly. I'm curious if there's anything that I have a reaction set for. I really don't think that I do, but I guess just while I'm here, let's check on Sasquatch and see how she's doing. 14, I can feed her some bananas as well, but she is still a little bit a ways away. Oh, I can also give her snowflakes. Okay, that's pretty cool. And let me check out these Sasquatch emotes. Should I try to grind these out? I might, just because like nobody else will have them, and Sasquatch is kind of my spirit card because they let me do the community spotlight video for it. I'm also curious, I don't think this is going to be that high because I don't have any Arishem variants. Arishem's only at level 10. Yeah, so I might just go all in on Sasquatch and just keep splitting my Sasquatches so that I can make that. But I am kind of curious, I guess, oh, if I sort this by mastery, does this show me which card I've got the highest mastery for? I think it does. I think it's telling me that Storm is what I have the highest mastery for. That makes sense just because they've given out so many Storm variants on different events and things, and looks like I've gotten that to level 19. I can go bananas on it, snowflakes again, bubbles. Okay. Interesting. Very, very close to 20, and then it looks like Iron Man and Galactus are both pretty high up. Deadpool's pretty high up, despite me not having a God Split on Deadpool. I have split it a bunch of times, and they've also given away a few freebie variants for that as well. Check out Iron Man here. It's probably going to be 18. Cool. One below Storm. All right, that's enough of looking through all of that for this second. I guess one thing that I will throw up on the screen here, though, is this. And let me also pop myself over here and just show these are the 4 cards releasing, other than the season pass card, which I will say, caveat to this being the best time to be a free-to-play player, this is a pretty cool season pass card. If you're, yeah, I mean, that like notwithstanding, and I always think you can get by without the season pass card. I did it for the first 2+ years that I played Marvel Snap, and I did not really use Sam Wilson in my climb to infinite this season. I'm not quite infinite, but I'm almost there. And yeah, I don't think he's super necessary. I will get back to that on one point, though, that he is kind of going to be good for something a little bit later on in the season for getting you even more value that I think makes him one of the better season pass cards that they've put out. But the other cards releasing this season, Joaquin Torres, Thaddeus Thunderbolt. Let me see if I could just make this a little bit bigger here. Yeah. These four right up on the top, I think, are not super powerful. And the reason that I'm celebrating that kind of is that means you should be saving your resources and you won't feel that bad doing it, as opposed to some other seasons where there's really cool cards that come out and you want them. I think that Joaquin Torres, this is just my quick season in review. And you know what, actually, while I do this, let's open up some more collector's reserves. Joaquin Torres, I think the only reason to get Joaquin is you think it's so bad that you think they're going to buff it, and you want to have it in case they do. In case they make it like a 2-cost Joaquin Torres or something, which could obviously be really good. But until then, I definitely think it is a skip. Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is fine. However, if you're a free-to-play player, that means you probably don't own Surtur unless you've bought it with collector's tokens, because it has not been available yet in Spotlight caches. And oh, by the way, avatars should definitely be counting for character mastery, because that would make avatars feel a lot cooler when they're kind of a miss right now. I do think that there's potentially other things to use Thunderbolt Ross for. You could use him to like just grab death or something, but you probably get the most value out of him potentially in RSM, but really any decks that have multiple cards that have 10 or more power. Right now that's really just Scar. Even the RSM decks mostly don't play multiple cards with more than 10 power. I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, like, I mean, Thanos is not even necessarily in the same bucket, but maybe there's like a Thanos RSM deck, but Thanos starts in your starting hand. So it's not even like Thunderbolt is great with that. And the RSM decks are typically running like Gore, Blob, Doom, Alioth, Mockingbird, and RSM. Like, those are the top end of those decks, none of which have 10 power in your deck so that you can fetch them out. So I don't really think that Thunderbolt Ross is that great either. What comes next here? We're gonna have to... Oh, this is cool. This is a Dan Hip Gladiator. We're at level 10 on Gladiator Mastery. That's wild. Cool. What else is coming out this month? Red Wing. So Red Wing is looking like the most interesting card coming out this season. And I think that KM Best on one of his podcasts had a pretty good take for that. Because if you're picking up Red Wing, you're like maybe thinking it's cool. Or maybe you're picking it up because like you think that something is going to work with it in like 4 months or something, or let's just not aggressively say like 3 months would be like, because we've got the next 2 months-ish of data mines and it doesn't seem like things are necessarily going to be synergistic with Red Wing. And if it's not going to be useful in 3 months, then you are definitely just best off waiting till you actually have a use for it. Like, there's never any reason to unlock something that you aren't planning on playing at least relatively soon, if that makes sense, especially as a free-to-play player. I'm in a little bit of a different bucket. Like I said, as a content creator, I'm possibly just going to continue to get every card this season. So do as I say, not as I do, because like so I'll talk more about this in a moment. You'll see that I unlocked everything on this first week. So I'm definitely acknowledging that it might look a little bit hypocritical. However, I didn't play Joaquin Torres. Like I said, I'll get to this exact thing in a moment, but to the point of Red Wing, if you're not planning on, which maybe it does look cool, and there's going to be some people that are going to be trying to make it work the week that it comes out. And I think that that's probably going to get overshadowed by Sanctum Showdown, because it doesn't seem that great in the mode. Maybe it could have a little bit of play, but I think that for the most part, if you are not planning on playing a card, then don't spend your resources on it, because eventually these cards will come back into spotlight caches. You might be able to see I unlocked MaKKari for the first time this week, and I already had Nomura, but it's not like I really played Nomura. I would have been totally fine if I had just unlocked Nomura this week as well, and you can gain more value the more cards that you don't have with the current spotlight cache system. And honestly, by the time you want Red Wing and you decide you're going to spend your in-game resources to purchase it, we might have a whole different system. So don't feel the need to like spend to get it just because you think it might be good in the future. And I would say the same thing with Joaquin Torres. It's probably not worth buying just on the off chance that they will buff the card and you'll be able to get you'll be able to use it like then. So that's what I would say. There's one other new release, Diamondback. I personally have skipped out on all Affliction related cards in Marvel Snap. That's just kind of my own personal preference. I do think it's a great way to approach the in-game economy as a free-to-play player. Pick the archetypes you want to pursue and the archetypes you don't want to pursue, because I'm like so far from making a Diamondback deck that it just has absolutely zero use to me. Now they buffed and nerfed US Agent, I think. And I think the other one, it's not Man-Thing, is it? Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't play with any of those Affliction cards because they didn't look good when they came out, so I didn't buy them. Now there's enough of them that with Ajax and Anti-Venom I've said is probably the best card that I don't own. And if I got Anti-Venom, then maybe I would circle back on wanting to play with some Affliction. But for right now, I don't own any of them, so I'm not going to bother trying to unlock any of them. And because I understand, like, people might want the new things. They're going to look exciting. Here's what I have to say, especially to people that are still watching this as a free-to-play player. I've also loaded up a graphic here for next season. And this season, I mean, we don't even know what half of these cards are going to necessarily do yet. However, we do possibly know what this first card here on the very top left of the screen, I guess I can bring myself back up, Isan, I think it's called. This is an RSM level card. This is a total game changer, and I do not want to hear any excuses if you don't have 4 spotlight keys come March 4th or whatever day this is. Yeah, March 4th. If March 4th rolls around and you don't have spotlight keys, I don't want to hear it, because you have an entire month right now to be saving spotlight keys rather than acquiring any of these cards right here, right now on the screen. And I guess I will say there's a little bit of... So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say about the upcoming March season. There are a few more things that I wanted to say about the current February season, though, because there are actually some reasons to open, if we're being honest. And let me actually... Yeah, I'm fine on the screen right now. So, in addition to... I guess... No, I'll take myself off the screen. This first week, not that great, right? This second week is notable because Blink, this is the first time that Blink has been available in spotlight caches. I believe that that's true. As a free-to-play player, I do not personally own Blink. Blink was a season pass card. I believe of these cards that aren't the new releases, I believe Nebula, Blink, Baron Zemo, Loki, Phoenix Force, and Nimrod are all previous season pass cards. I don't think that Nomura or MaKKari are, but I think the other 6 were all season pass cards when they first were released. Loki was good enough. I just grabbed him immediately. Phoenix Force and Nimrod have been around long enough, and they've got enough variants that they've been in Spotlight caches multiple times. Nebula, I think, similar story. But Baron Zemo and Blink both have never been in Spotlight caches before this month. Baron Zemo, I know for sure. Blink, I'm pretty sure, because it's a sweet card, and I feel like I would have picked it up already had I had the opportunity to, but I still don't own it because I was free to play when it initially came out. So that's the caveat, that the new cards releasing this season are not worth spending Spotlight caches on. However, Blink, it's a pretty important card in the Hella deck. Being able to Jubilee something out and then Blink the Jubilee and just getting insane value, basically getting, just like 2 really good high-end cards. It also thins your deck and potentially allows you to find Hella with more regularity, and you are a single card combo deck. I mean, you're not really a single card combo, but the whole deck is built around one single card. So trying to find that card is important, and I think that Blink is really sweet. Baron Zemo is interesting because it's not like super important, and people have recently started to refer to the mill deck as like a death deck that just happens to have a little bit of a mill sub-theme. I don't know if I personally buy that. I feel like it's a mill deck to me, but Baron Zemo is what made that deck go from unplayable garbage to, wait a minute, I'm not going to say this is good now, but I am going to say that this could actually be a deck. It would be like trying to play red deck wins if Lightning Bolt was the only red card, which is how... And now Baron Zemo comes out, and now there's just, basically there's a critical mass of mill cards, and you need at least a certain number. And so they're all kind of replaceable, but you need to like have some amount of them. We're gonna go into the albums, I think, in just a second. Maybe we'll see if I can open up one more gold ticket. I kind of wanted to get to, I think maybe like 10 gold tickets or something. So that way I, like I said, can just spend all of my time this week basically playing gold conquests. And I'm almost infinite, so after I hit infinite, then I'll spend all of my time playing gold conquests, and then the final 2 weeks of the season playing in Sanctum Showdown. So let's check out these albums first. Boss Baby's got to 6. That is going to give me 2K tokens. Pretty nice. And yeah, I just got this, or I just saw this Human Torch recently. Deadpool Baby's cute as well. And I just got Cosmic Companions, a little bit more value there, and maybe, yeah, Destroy All Pixels. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's also check out... to go back to the main thing here, so that way we can click Conquest and just see what's in the Conquest shop this season. Still only 2 tickets. Oh, this one's Dazzler. Right. Well, I at the very least want more than 2 gold tickets. I'm going to try to get that up to like 7 or 10, I think. We'll see if I run out of things to talk about first, or if I run out of a need for gold tickets. I'm not going to run out of caches, but I might run out of the need for the tickets there. Venomized Nova. I wonder, is there a Venomized Destroy album?
Mastery.
I feel like Nova was like one of the first cards that I cared about splitting, and that's maybe why it's up to level 8, because at some point I cared about Nova, but that has not been a real card in a minute. I will bring up, I've brought up Sanctum Sanctorum, or Sanctum Showdown a few times throughout this video. I want to bring up now the reason that I opened up for MaKKari and Joaquin Torres this week. And so part of the reason is just I wanted the cards, right? And maybe can make content, yada, yada, yada. I don't think that they're great cards, any of them. I think that if you don't have the cards this week's a definite skip. just so that way I'm like talking and covering all my bases. I guess no, that's next season. I guess I will discuss all of these cards at some point throughout the video, just so that way this is like a little bit of a season review. And I felt like it wasn't as important to get this video out in time for people to make a decision on this week, because like I said, I think you should just be skipping this week, skipping Joaquin Torres and MaKKari. I guess I can move myself. By the way, big news, I should have a new camera soon. I see this is a little choppy. I'm hoping that that cleans up some of that, and yeah, just allows me to have more like camera, face cam in my videos and stuff. So hopefully all of that gets sorted correctly. But the other reason that I decided to open for Joaquin and MaKKari, and could be something that you want to think about. I'm looking at the clock here. By the time this video goes live, the spotlight caches will have rotated. But in Sanctum Showdown, one of the things in the shop is the ability to buy a total of 4. You can only get a total of 4 while Sanctum Showdown is in rotation. 4 unowned cards from Series 4 or 5. So there's no chance to just open up collector's tokens. You will always get unowned cards. And one way to take a better advantage of that is to just like get the cards that you don't have. Like, I would feel bad if I didn't buy MaKKari here, and then because I don't want it, and then for my unowned Series 4 and 5, I got MaKKari while I skipped on it this week. So I'm just going to take more steps towards getting collection complete, and I think that picking up these cards is like not terrible if you think about it from that perspective, and that'll allow me to have better pulls from the guaranteed Series 4, Series 5 cards as Sanctum Showdown rewards. So that could be something to think about, and that is really the other big news that's coming out this season. Not only the rewards from Sanctum Showdown, but because there's a bunch of rewards. There's the possibility to open a max of 4 cards that you don't own from Series 4 and Series 5, and then there's 3 brand new cards, which I didn't bother to make a graphic for, because I believe you're just going to click a button and you're just going to get one of those cards random. It's like Uncle Ben, and then there's 2 others. If it seems like there's some choice, some player agency about which of those cards you can grab, I don't believe that there is, but if there is, then maybe I'll do some type of breakdown on how to spend your resources, and maybe that's just like a fine idea anyways, to look at how to best utilize your resources when viewing the different potential purchasables from the Sanctum Showdown. I think that's going to be largely player preference though as well. A huge thing that I want to bring up as far as the Sanctum Showdown: don't expect to get everything. Don't expect to get 7 new cards, 4 from Series 4 and 5, and then the 3 new cards without paying something, probably, maybe, and that something could just be a huge time investment that anyone that isn't monetizing their ability to play Marvel Snap is able to utilize. Oh, okay, I cannot get credits. I don't know why these are here, but looks like I just missed them. We gotta figure out something else to split now. And then I'll get back to that point. I have been playing a bit more Moon Girl recently. Can I sort this by upgradable? So show me what I've got a bunch of credits for. Oh, what if we went for Sassy? Where's she at? She's probably pretty low down. There she is. Cool. Oh, I've got no credits yet. Okay, well, maybe I will work on splitting those regardless. Blob, I already have a god split on. Oh, Thanos. Thanos was a good one. I just saw that. Where are you at, Thanos? Cool. All right, I can split Thanos twice. That will bring me right down to 10,000, and then I'll have to find something else to split. Unless I just get a god split right here. I don't know, are god splits even important though? Who knows? I'm not going to claim this other stuff here just yet. We'll get back into this menu in a moment. What's our first split on Thanos? Okay. Nothing. Oh, but that will get me to mastery level 11. Nice. I can put bananas on them. And let's split them up one more time. And I'll possibly just work on another Thanos split here, just to spend my credits and my boosters, and then he can show up in my daily shop. And I'll start splitting them that way. Alright, second Thanos split is going to be not bad. I don't recognize these things coming out. I wonder if they added new splits that just like anybody can get, like in addition to just like the mastery splits. Possibly. Now would be a great time to add them. I felt like they said they were going to add them in at some point, so maybe now is said point. Trying to remember the other points I was going to make. I know I was talking about don't expect to get everything from Sanctum Showdown. I think that's where I left off, and I do think that is a pretty important thing to remember, because people are going to potentially feel some type of way about not being able to grab everything. I kind of want to split one more card while I'm still here. I have Legion. What else have I been playing a lot with? Wiccan, Victoria Hand. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Frigga. I said that Frigga might be a new splitter for me. Where's she at? Oh, there she is. Cool. Yeah, I can split her almost 3 times. So let's start there. And this will actually unlock Mastery for Frigga because she had 0 progress before. So I'm kind of curious what that looks like. Nice, another Spotlight key. We'll pick all that up in a moment. Or next season when I do a similar video. Oh wow, that makes it go right from 0 or 1 all the way up to 3. Cool beans. Oh, and she's bananas. Banana time. I might just make my whole deck all bananas because then it all looks the same. And it's just ridiculous as well. So don't expect to get everything from Sanctum Showdown. I'm certainly going to try, and Glenn kind of put it out as... It felt like a challenge to me. Glenn basically saying I'm not expecting anyone that's... I think he said anyone that's free to play, and I'm not technically free to play, but he might meant like without spending gold. But basically the Sanctum Showdown shop is not meant to be completed. There are more rewards than they are expecting anybody to be able to claim, and that way everyone has the ability to choose. And if you personally decide you don't want to try to become collection complete, you want to take, I know some people are using the opportunity to farm up some borders for their cards, and now as the mastery system is in place, people might start to care a little bit more about tricking out their decks and tricking out their collections, and just going for like a whole bunch of matte black borders could be something that some people decide is worth playing for. So yeah, obviously if you feel that your in-game resources are spent better on one thing or the other, don't let me hold you back. But if you are looking to get the most value out of your in-game resources, it's probably going to be, and it depends how much the individual different things cost, but I imagine it's going to be to try to unlock all 4 of the all 4 of the unowned Series 4/Series 5 cards that you don't own first, and then going for the Uncle Ben pool. But those could also be, I don't know, the Uncle Ben might even cost more just because it's like a smaller pool of cards, so higher likelihood to hit something that you want. One other thing, I mentioned MaKKari earlier, you have to consider the Series 4 card, and I always say this, like there's always an awkward thing with drops, which I do want to bring up a little bit as well, but drops are not drops. unowned cards are a very awkward thing because while you will be excited a little bit to complete your collection, the cards that you don't own, you potentially don't own them for a reason. I'm not going to get that excited if I open up Ajax because I didn't buy it because I don't have the support for Ajax, so I didn't really care if it was in my collection or not. So yeah, that's kind of like an interesting tension point with unowned cards, is that oftentimes players don't own them for a reason. Now, the reason might be you're a new or returning player, or just like, I feel like the term new or returning might even feel, it might make people feel some type of way if you're like, wait, I've been playing this game for a long time now and I'm still in this bucket of like newer returning players because it is so hard to catch up in the game. But you could be in that, and then there's like, oh, I could potentially find Arshem in my unowned 4 or 5 cards. I mean, probably just spend tokens on Arshem if you don't have them already and you want them because it is just that sweet. But all of that is to say, there are going to be some players that try to unlock unowned Series 4 and Series 5 cards and feel a little bit let down because they come around to the fact that, oh wait, this is why I don't own MaKKari, because I kind of just like didn't want it and I'm not that excited to now own it, even though I just spent like a week and a half grinding for it or whatever it might take you to do that. I just want to check how many tickets I have. I'm up to 9. I think I will go up to 10 as I talk about the last subject in the video, which is, no, I keep pulling up the wrong one. Is there anything cool coming in February just because I keep bringing that up? Yeah, Wiccan is coming, Scorn's coming. These are cool cards. Scar, people have been looking, and then also Isan. But for this season, there is also Nebula, which is this week. Nebula is currently available in Spotlight Caches, and they've announced that Nebula is going to be dropping down to Series 3 the next time they do a series drop. And that puts it in a really interesting situation for currently being in Spotlight Caches. I'm glad that they at least told people about it. But I also just wanted to bring up the idea of, what are they called, series drops in general, a little bit to get ahead of them. And I talked about this in my video, which I probably put out in either like December or January, just more or less in defense of series drops, I guess is the way to reword it. And forgive me if you watch that video, if you are a loyal fan, and I might repeat myself a little bit here. And I think a lot of players agreed with the sentiment that I shared in that video, at least the fans that are watching 40 minutes in to a video of just me rambling, right? But the interesting thing about series drops is a very similar phenomenon to what I was just talking about with unknown 4 and 5 cards that you can grab from the Sanctum Showdown shop. And that is basically the cards that drop, you either are not going to be excited about them because you have them, or you are not going to be excited about them because you already decided that you didn't want them. Because cards in Marvel Snap are either cards that you own because you wanted to own them, or cards that you don't own because you either couldn't or didn't want to own them. If they're cards that you don't own because you couldn't afford to get them, then it's cool that they start dropping in series. However, a lot of the cards that wind up dropping are going to be in the category of cards that you don't own because you don't want them. You did not feel it was worth your in-game resources to try to acquire them, and therefore it's not that exciting when they drop. Now, we just had a series drop. Having another one follow up is going to catch more potential things, but you have to understand, and then there's the other side of that coin too. It's, oh, I just got that card and now they're dropping it. And that is Nebula aside. That is like, let's say they drop, what's a cool card? Let's think. What did I just open? Let's say War Machine. That's just top of my mind right now. Let's say they drop War Machine. and you think War Machine is, let's say you love War Machine, you think it's really cool, you've been watching me play it in some content over the past few months and other players as well, you picked up War Machine, you love it, well, it dropping in series doesn't help anyone. And that's when they just dropped a sweet card. So everyone is specifically, like for me, here's what Marvel Snap needs to do. If Marvel Snap doesn't do this, I quit. They need to drop Ajax, Man-Thing, US Agent, and Anti-Venom in the next series drop, down to series 1. That's what I'm looking for. And you see the problem. You might have those cards, and that series drop would do absolutely nothing for you. But those are the cards that I don't have, so those are the cards that I am most excited for them to drop, and I'm not expecting those cards to drop. I really don't care. I've sort of, again, to repeat myself from a few videos ago, I stopped caring about the series drops. I've got 19 keys here. This is a lot. This is, I feel, and this is mostly as a free-to-play player. Past 2 seasons, I've put $10 into the game to buy the season pass. And I will say, the US outage and that compensation did give me a little bit more in this regard. But for the most part, I have just like utilized my resources appropriately originally, and then the past like 3-4 seasons I stopped doing that. I've gotten every single new card that's released, and all of that is to say, I think Marvel Snap is super generous and gives players the tools, if they're playing the game every day, to be able to get all of the new game pieces. And that is more or less without series drops as a consideration. I think that the game is just plenty generous without that. I used to, and I've been playing Marvel Snap since the beta, how the game used to work is new cards would come out, and every time like cards came out, other cards would drop. It wasn't exactly like a 1-for-1, but basically they would release 4 cards, and then after that, 4 cards from Series 5 would go down to Series 4, 4 cards from Series 4 would go down to Series 3. Or maybe they would do it in batches of 8. I don't really remember. But what happened was the new cards would come out, most players would not buy them, and then things would trickle down. And then a bunch of things would come to Series 3, at which point they were basically free. You could just claim them in collector's reserves. And that just meant that nobody was engaging with the new cards, and everybody was still playing for free. Everybody was just like playing 2 months behind, or some players were playing 2 months ahead. More, it felt like. There's the War Machine. But all of that is now, like, that's not how the system works now. Now you just are encouraged to buy cards as they come out, because you get these spotlight keys. And I'm just going to check how many of these I have. I feel like, yeah, 11. Maybe I'll do one more because we're chatting here still. But basically, I'm not sure if I should claim all of this stuff. Maybe I'll just claim these boosters while we chat. Oh, and the spotlight key. Yeah, because that'll make it. I like to claim the keys, as you saw, as we were going through that, just so that way I actually have a decent handle on how many keys I have and don't have to go like hunting for them or whatever later. So I tend to pick those up. And basically, I think I'm getting a little bit away from the point that I was trying to make, which is that the game is, I feel, very generous without the need to drop down, because I mean, and this is just purely anecdotal. You might not feel it's generous for you. I've brought up before in my free-to-play guides, and I guess I'll say it now, 50 minutes, 45 minutes into this video as well. If you do want to be a free-to-play player, I did kind of say it at the beginning of this video. I said this is the best month to be a free-to-play player because you should just be skipping this entire month. And then if you skip this entire month, you will have at least 6 keys going into next season, and it takes about 2.5 keys to get a card that you want. So imagine you get 6 keys built up throughout the end of this season. Next season you get 5 more. That's 11 keys. That's enough to buy basically the entire next season's worth of cards. And so, if you want to be an effective free-to-play player in Marvel Snap, what you have to do is look for opportunities like this one where you can just straight up skip and just say, I don't want any of these cards. And of these cards, I mean, Phoenix Force and Nimrod, they kind of go in a deck. Diamondback is fine if you want the Affliction stuff. Loki is not seen play in a little bit. Baron Zemo, it's like a specific deck card. It's fine otherwise. I haven't played it ever. I don't own the card, so I can't like really speak to how good it is. Sometimes it's annoying to play against, and sometimes it gets really good value, while also like denying you a card draw on the final turn. All of that stuff is cool. I don't think it's super necessary, is basically the point to this entire video. And unless you really want to play specifically Mill, you've been watching content creators play the deck and you think it looks cool and good, and you want to play it yourself, and you think it's worth spending the resources on, same thing could be said about Blink in Hela. But if that's not the case, I'd be skipping and I'd be saving for other cooler cards. I mean, if you're watching this channel, I feel like you probably own Wiccan, but there's some people that don't, that want to. I think I've seen in some of the comments here. And I also really like Scorn coming out next season. I will be honest, I think that a lot of these things are not even data mined yet, so I don't know what, and I can't read these are too small for my old man eyes here, but what does this say? Star Brand, Fire Hair, and Khonshu from Moon Knight, and Agamotto. I think that Agamotto and Khonshu aren't data mined. Oh, but Fire Hair is data mined, and I think it is actually a Phoenix Force card. Okay, well that's actually kind of a heads up thing to consider, that Firehair has an ability like very similar to Phoenix Force, so you might want to pick up Phoenix Force this season and Nimrod if you were thinking about that Firehair looks sweet. So that is definitely something to consider, but it's a Series 4 card. Actually, I'll say this. It is probably, I don't have access to what's getting dropped. If I did, I'm not allowed to tell you, but I don't. I will say though, they made a specific announcement that Nebula, as a warning, Nebula's about to get series dropped, and there was no way that they could change the Spotlight caches. The fact that they have not made that announcement about Phoenix Force and Nimrod, which are also Series 4 cards that we're looking at right here, probably means that they're not getting dropped. Don't quote me on that. They might announce that they are getting dropped later. Just something that I just thought of right now in the moment though. So take that what you will, and we're going to try to get one more. Oh, player 2, that's cute. We're going to try to get, oh, you can't see what I'm doing right now. I'm opening up more boxes, and I'm going to try to get one more gold ticket or sweet thing. I'm curious, how far did I catch up? This looks like it says 21,000 something hundred. I really can't read. I don't know if I need glasses. These are tiny numbers though too. Okay, cool, Taskmaster. That's fun. And gets me to Mastery level 10. Nice. And I think I'll stop there. I think that that is a fine stopping place. Oh wait, I stopped at a variant. I did say I was going to do one more gold ticket. Yeah, let's farm up to 12. You can see I'm very close to infinite, and that was something else that I wanted to talk about. I do think that if you want to make get the most value out of Sanctum Showdown as you possibly can, that is going to mean hitting infinite as soon as you can this season, and also completing anything you want to do with Conquest by the end of this week. So that way next week, Showdown starts and you can hit the ground running on that and just spend all of your time, because time is a resource that you're going to need to be able to utilize. There is like an in-game, like Deadpool's Diner, you had to spend something to play. Well, you didn't really have to spend something to play in Deadpool's Diner, but High Voltage was free. Normally games are free. It's going to feel more like Conquest actually, in that you have to spend a ticket to play. and there's probably ways to like earn more tickets. You win the ticket back if you win. So it's going to feel pretty similar to Conquest all in all in that regard. There we go. There's a gold ticket, and that is a good stopping point. But before we reach like the ultimate stopping point with the video, there was one other caveat that I kind of hinted at the beginning of this video that I wanted to bring up here. This is showing a 4. I'm kind of curious why exactly. I might just have to do that off screen here because yeah, I'll try to figure out how to clear that. Oh, I'm down to 32. Wow, I really caught up. I opened up a bunch of stuff here. Wow, I am almost caught up, and that's including these credits too. Wow, this is the least backlog I have ever had. Oh, my credits are full. All right. So then the last thing that I want to say here to round off this video, and I believe I've mostly said everything else, is the idea that this is the best free-to-play season is a little unfair because of the season pass card, which is obviously just like a very cool card. However, I also kind of personally feel like it is a very good card to have for the Sanctum Showdown mode. I think that starting with the shield in play to allow you to win locations early could be really good in the mode, and just cheap cards, cheap tempo cards are really good in the mode. You can slam this down on turn 2, move the shield in there, and then you've got 6 power for 2 energy Maximus levels of power that doesn't necessarily fall off as the game continues. There is a little bit of interesting tension that I'm happy for, in that you don't know where the selected, the signature snappable Sanctum Showdown location is going to be the turn prior. If you don't know what I'm talking about yet, you will in a week. But yeah, it's just to say, like, I don't think that this card is broken in Sanctum Showdown, which I am thankful for. I do think it's pretty good in the mode, and that was part of the reason that I decided to buy it as well. I felt like it'll help me get some early game tempo, which seems pretty good in that mode for earning as much as you can. I am kind of curious though. There's part of me, I want to look at exactly what Glenn said. If Glenn put out a challenge specifically to free-to-play, which I'm already not free-to-play, but if the challenge was just like, I don't think anyone will be able to get the 7 new cards without spending gold on like the resources, because there's also spending gold on just more tickets to play, which you can do in Conquest mode as well. But I believe he was specifically referring to that. And I think you are allowed to play Sam Wilson, Captain America, but basically what I'm getting at is I'm putting it on a challenge for myself to try to unlock 7 new cards in Sanctum Showdown. We'll see how I can do. Probably stream a portion of that adventure as well. Like I said, hoping to have a new camera. Might have to get some other purchasables to make this whole setup work. And I'm also thinking when drops come out, whenever those come out this season, I will probably spend some time streaming, so that way I can make some of that money back and keep buying season passes and justify not being a free-to-play player anymore in Marvel Snap. For today, though, that is going to be it for me. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed this, a slightly different look at this season, where kind of a little bit more free form than just like the tier list videos, which tend to do pretty well. But there were a few things that I wanted to talk about, and I think we got them all done, and I basically exhausted my collection here down to just 32, but we'll be building that back up. I'm sure I've got a bunch of credits right now, but I'll sit on that and I'll open up some more next season. But for this season, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.